Hey guys, what's going on? Excoundrel here. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Sorry I haven't posted in a couple of days. I went on holiday and unfortunately didn't get the chance to upload many videos because my internet at home is absolutely terrible. It takes 2.5 hours to upload a single video, so I don't get much time to prepare my videos when I go away. So this was actually due to be released Sunday or Monday, but I had to delay it until I got home. So actually I've just arrived home from my holiday and I'm doing the voiceover for this, which will be released at 12 PM UK time or sometime after that anyway. So I hope you're all well. If you're a subscriber, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back, I was about to say welcome back Excoundrels, but actually it's just Scoundrels. Welcome back, Scoundrels. If you're not a subscriber, feel free to subscribe. I produce a lot of mobile gaming content, specifically autochess, but also going to be looking to do more mobile gaming content because we have a lot of awesome mobile games releasing this year. So I'm going to be covering as many of those as possible. I've had a lot of recommendations on Reddit. I've had a lot of recommendations on Twitter. If you guys want to recommend me a mobile game to cover, then please do in the comments below. I'm definitely going to be doing things like TFT Mobile and also Wild Rift. But if you like anything else, I got requested to do Marvel, the Marvel MOBA. You guys might know it. I'm going to have a look into it anyway, but obviously Wild Rift, TFT Mobile, Legends of Runeterra, these are all going to be really big things that I look to get involved in. So I'm changing up something. Someone mentioned, why don't you try 1.5 times for some of your voiceover videos? You might wonder why Pepe the Frog is covering my face. That's because usually I do these voiceovers and add another, I basically overlay videos. I put a video of me in the webcam in the corner and overlay it onto my essentially what my old video was, but I've just got back from a very long travel day and I'm not really in the mood to go on camera, so you're just going to have my voice and Pepe for the time being. That might actually be an improvement though. You know, depends on how you feel about my face, I guess. So anyway, talking about this game, this is going to be focusing primarily on me analyzing my game about 5 or 6 days after I played it. Usually when I do these voiceover videos, it's almost directly after I played the game. This time round, it's about 5 or 6 days after I played the game. So we're going to be looking at what I've been doing over the first few rounds. I got a Unicorn and Druid upgrade very early on, and what I've done at round 5, because of that Unicorn sell, I've actually been very economical with the units that I've bought, and that's got me to 10 gold at round 5. If you are going to run this kind of strategy, 10 gold at round 5, this is always going to be better if you're looking to middle or lose streak. Middling is when you win and lose, so you never really build a streak up, and obviously lose streaking is lose streaking. I do think lose streaking is risky in the current meta because it is so easy for people to level up. There are ways that you can lose streak, which I'll talk about in a future video, but obviously it can be quite risky. When you are middling, it's usually best to try and keep up with the leveling on curve where you can, or leveling as close to curve as physically possible. You can see here I actually delayed my level up to level 5 by a round, but I did that to ensure that I could keep 10 gold for 2 rounds. That is going to get me a net gold interest gain of 1 gold overall, which might not seem a lot, but sometimes that's all you need to break a certain gold threshold. When I talk about gold thresholds, what I'm talking about is 10 gold, 20 gold, 30 gold, 40 gold, because obviously the higher the threshold you can breach, the more interest gold you're going to make on a round. So I started off this game, you might have seen right at the start when I was doing the intro, we actually got a 2-star Egesis Ranger super early on. This essentially has directed me towards hunters. This whole video is on the premise that hunters are just absolutely broken, and I stand by that every single time that I talk about it. Hunters in this meta right now are the most broken synergy, maybe next to assassins if you can get the assassin items. The hunter's kryptonite is generally assassins, but if you can get a good 4 Egesis hunter composition, 6 or 3 hunters, you are in the money. Like, it is, they are such they are just really good. So I'm leveling up on curve, but what I'm doing right now is I am obviously trying to keep my gold as relevant as possible. And what you can see, I'm actually going to sell off that Shining Archer to get to 20 gold on round 8. The reason being is that I don't need Shining Archer unless I'm going to go for 6 hunters. The best 3 hunter combo that you can go with any situation when you're playing 3 hunters right now is Umbra, Egesis Ranger, and Dwarf Sniper. People might say you should try other hunters. Siren can be added for a bit of CC, but nothing will ever come close to out DPSing Dwarf Sniper in a Hunter composition. Dwarf Sniper is just the biggest DPS carry, closely followed by Exercis Ranger and Wind Ranger. But you need Exercis Ranger at level 3 to even compete with a 2-star Dwarf Sniper. Dwarf Sniper is by far and away the strongest Hunter in the game. When you're playing a Hunter composition, he is by far and away the strongest Hunter in the game. So that's why I build my Hunter compositions around Exercis Ranger, Dwarf Sniper, and Umbra. So around 9, I did level up on Curve because there was no way that I could hit 30 gold without selling everything, and that included the one Exercis Ranger that I had on the bench. Don't want to sell the Exercis Ranger, obviously, because that is something that I want to build towards. So I'm not going to, because I'm going to have to spend, basically the way that I think about it is, I could have sold her to get 1 gold, but I'm just going to have to spend that 1 gold later buying another Exercis Ranger, so there's no point. But I have hit 30 gold at round 10, the neutral round, and I am actually level 6, so I have been leveling up on Curve. I've also got the 3 Hunter bonus, so I'm going to start actually winning now, which is good. This is actually a really good position to be in. By looking after my economy early on, I am in a really good spot for the mid-game. This is going to allow me to function really well in the mid-game. There's one other player going for Hunters. So there's one other player in this lobby going for Hunters right now. For some reason, a lot of my lobbies have been very underpopulated with the Hunter presence. But yeah, there's one other player going for Hunters right now. And he's basically directly competing for me. Now, I could have very easily transitioned out of Hunters, but obviously on round 11, finding a double Dwarf Sniper, that's about as clear of a sign that you're going to get to go Hunters. I generally like to avoid playing the same build over and over again on my channel. You might remember about 4 months ago, there was a point in my channel where I just played Glacier Knights over and over and over because they were just the best composition. Definitely in this, I guess, iteration of the season where I'm at right now, I am focused on climbing and having the best win rate possible, and therefore I want to play the strongest compositions as much as I can. Finding Umbra here is fantastic too, because I can basically make a direct swap out for Shining Archer and keep my 40 gold threshold at round 12, because she's 2 gold, Shining Archer's 2 gold. If anything, I think Umbra should be 3 gold. I think the best nerf for Hunters would be to make Umbra 3 gold, because she's quite strong and she's basically a tank hunter. She's not really there for damage, but she's basically a tank hunter. So that's the best nerf I can think of for Hunters. I don't think you need to touch Hunters synergy-wise. The only reason they got good was because of Umbra. Nothing actually changed. The only reason that they improved was because of Umbra herself. So, I would be looking to... I would personally be looking for Umbra to be 3 gold, and I think that would be the best change. It would also affect the Exercis bonus, which is obviously massive. So I leveled up to level 7 on round 13. You might wonder why I did that, because I was pretty close to 50 gold, but I am a massive, massive fan of leveling up on Curve if you have the economy to support it. When you're at 30 gold, you're only about 2 rounds away from hitting that 50 gold threshold. I would much rather invest in protecting my future, which is by saving as much HP as physically possible, than worrying too much about sort of getting those gold thresholds. And you can see, actually, the 2 Hunter players, this guy actually just donked me on the head, but that's okay. Like, we're saving HP by leveling up to level 7. We're not bleeding HP right now. We are 66 gold and we're about to hit 50 gold as well. We are level 7 already before round 15, and also being level 7 before round 15 means no matter how bad your composition is, you can usually beat the Wolf round. It's really, really important when you're playing any kind of composition to have a good outcome versus the Wolf round, because it's pretty big for protecting HP. Like, if you lose badly to the Wolves, you get absolutely screwed. And it's also pretty big for getting items, of course, because the Wolf's guaranteed to drop 1 item, and also then you have the item selection afterwards. And the item selection at the Wolf round is usually pretty good. It's a mix of sort of mid-game items, or mid-game components anyway. So it's definitely important to beat the Wolf round. So if you are level 7, no matter how bad your composition is, you can usually beat the Wolf round, which is why it's important to keep the ethos that leveling up on Curve is important. And I've talked about what leveling up on Curve means a lot, but basically it means leveling up at the point in the game where you can level directly to the next level without losing much gold value. And I was replying to a guy in my lobby saying, is Hunter my favorite now? Yes, Hunter is definitely my favorite comp now. Used to be Glacier Knights when they were really strong, but Hunter is 100% one of my favorite compositions. Quite easily countered actually by Halberd, but Halberd did just get nerfed. This is before the halberd nerf. It basically reduced it from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. That's actually just made hunters better and has also made assassins better. So if you're wondering what the nerf to the halberd is, it has made hunters and assassins just better, because now dwarf sniper and shadow crawler are only out of the fight for around 3 seconds, which is much, much better than being out of the fight for 5 seconds. Halberd nerf massively, massively improves hunters and assassins on this current update. And now I'm actually in a pretty good spot. Like, I've got a 2-star Umbra, so I've got a bit of a tanky hunter to work with. My front line is not what I want it to be, but I do have 3 out of 4 Agursis, including the Evil Knight, so I can very quickly transition into 4 Agursis, and I don't need a tanky front line if I'm running 3 hunters with a stacked 2-star Shadowcrawler and 4 Agursis, because I'm essentially going to kill things more quickly than they can kill me. That's basically the way that you play 4 Agursis Hunter. Kill things more quickly than they can kill me. So I'm thinking about where I want this build to go right now. I'm kind of shaping it in my head. And obviously, one of the very popular choices right now is something that I played on the channel maybe a week or so ago, is 4 knights and 3 hunters for Agursis, and you can add the dragons in as well to get the dragon bonus too. It's something that is very, very good. It gives you a really solid front line, and Hell Knight is definitely needed for that. The problem is, when you're playing that build, is that you do directly compete with Glacier Knights for Hell Knight. I don't know why I sold Swordsman there. For some reason, I forgot that I went to... Oh, no, it's because I wanted to get Venomancer. That makes more sense. A Venomancer is good just because he reduces armor. And obviously, he reduces armor further over the reductions that Agursis give you, so you just like absolutely put everyone's armor into the floor and you start doing insane damage at that point. Dwarf Sniper not moving as well is important in this scenario. And actually now the comp is super strong. Like, the comp is really good right now. We're in a good spot. But there is obviously someone playing exactly the same build as me, and there is another hunter player playing a very similar build to me. So we are in a situation right now where we are essentially competing with 2 people for the same build, which is never really where you want to be. Competing with 2 people for the same build, never really where you want to be. Now that I've essentially managed to get the 4 Agursis, 3 Hunter, and 2 Warlock bonus, I am very happy to just start leveling up to level 9 now. The things that I would now be looking for is my Knights, and then just trying to 3-star my important hunters. Those hunters being a Dwarf Sniper and a Agursis Ranger, and then Umbra after that. And you can see, like, we are just in a super strong spot with all of that armor reduction, the front line that we've got as well. We just need a 2-star Evil Knight, and then maybe look for a Gali and Dragon Knight if we want to go for obviously the 4 Knight version, which is where, if I'm reflecting on my thoughts at this point in the game, that is where I thought this build was going. I thought I was eventually going to sell Venomancer, get rid of that second Umbra on the field, and add in the other Knights, Gali Knight and Dragon Knight, and go for the 4-Knight version of this build. However, was in the back of my mind remembering that I am directly competing with another player for exactly the same build, because obviously it is a very, very, very strong build right now. So in terms of itemization, I'm at round 20, and I feel pretty confident with the items that I've picked up. The items that I'm looking for is just stacking Frantic Masks onto my Dwarf Sniper, and then looking for any big tier 3 damage items, those being primarily things like Dragonbone Ballista and also Mjolnir, things like Maelstrom into Mjolnir. That's what I'm obviously looking for on Dwarf Sniper. Now that Halberd has been nerfed, it is perfectly okay to continue to stack on Dwarf Sniper, because now it's just 3 seconds instead of 5 seconds. So you really don't get punished for stacking too hard onto Dwarf Sniper by a single halberd, and you shouldn't be too worried about that. And my comp's now in a pretty strong spot. We're now on a 5-win streak. We are now level 9 as well. I also pick up an Gali Knight, which is fantastic, because obviously if I'm working towards the 4-Knight version of this build, that's incredible. And there's a Dragon Knight as well. So what I do is I sell off the Venomancer, think that I'm definitely sold on going for the Knight and the 4-Knight and Dragon version, which is something that you can go very easily at level 9. 4 Knights, 3 Dragons Hunters. You've seen it on the channel before. It's incredibly strong, and it's just super, super good build. And I think if you can get it, I would recommend it at any time you can. I ended up losing here, but I have fought my way back up from essentially last place to second place. I've put the build into a really strong spot. I also pick up an egg and a Hell Knight here. I'm thinking about the Hell Knight because obviously it takes me below 50 gold, but I wouldn't worry too much about a singular gold loss at this stage in the game. It's more important that you actually start to 3-star the units that matter to you. So I'm at this point now deliberating. I am going to have to face a guy who is playing the same build as me, but is much further advanced with his knight build than I am. And I'm thinking, what can actually counter that? Because I either play him at his own game and just basically rely on Knight Shield RNG, or I have to play something completely different. And at this point, I was like, okay, the completely different thing that I have to play here is probably going to be a warlock variation of this build, and that's why I'm not buying the Dragon Knight, because I'm like, okay, I actually probably need to do something different here. I don't think I buy the Dragon Knight. If I remember correctly, I don't buy the Dragon Knight just because I think I'm going to change the build up. And if I do buy the Dragon Knight, we are going to ignore that I did it, because that's the honorable thing to do. I also looked at the top player, Skathas, and I looked at kind of where his build was at, and I thought, okay, I'm probably not beating that if I just play the normal build at this point in time. And I'm happy to keep our Guardian Knight because I'm going to run a 2-Knight combo, but I'm not going to run Hell Knight and I'm not going to run Dragon Knight. I am going to focus on running a Guardian Knight and Evil Knight, and then I'm primarily then looking for Warlocks. I'm going to run the 4 Warlock variation. And adding to that, the 4 Warlock variation allows me to run a Dark Spirit, and also allows me to go into the 4 Warlocks for sustain. And then I'm going to primarily be relying on a 3-star Dwarf Sniper with the insane amount of DPS that he has, including now a Dragonbone Ballista, to carry me with a massive amount of lifesteal versus a Knight player. And you can see here that I'm again not going to buy. I'm going to save the egg for the Dwarf Sniper where I can, and I'm obviously not going to buy. I'm not going to buy the Dragon Knights. I'm adding Venom for the only reason I'm adding Venom right now is because obviously 3 dragons is better than not having 3 dragons, even if I'm going to change out of this build, and just allows Venom to get an instant cast off, which actually Venom is a pretty important unit, especially versus other Hunter comps, because he can lock down the attack speed of the enemy Dwarf Sniper or whoever their carry tends to be. I'm a bit of an idiot. I noticed that several rounds I skipped Venom, but sometimes things just don't occur to you right at the time of seeing them. Which is why I basically avoided Venom for a little bit. Didn't pick up the Evil Knight here because I was worried about bench space. I want to basically 3-star the stuff that matters to me first, and actually combine the Dwarf Sniper there. Even though it's kind of bad practice to combine a Dwarf Sniper or combine an important unit when you've got an egg on your bench, just because you might be able to find another egg and then you only need 1 more Dwarf Sniper to get a 3-star. But I'm just a little bit worried about bench space because I'm trying to 3-star 3 units at the same time. I've got Umbra, I've got a Gersis Ranger, and I've got Dwarf Sniper on my bench, so it's obviously important for me to maintain a good amount of bench space. And I actually find the Dark Spirit here. Finding the Dark Spirit now means that if I find a Venomancer, even though I sold the last one, which was dumb of me, but obviously I didn't know exactly where my build was going to go. If I find the Venomancer, I can then sub out, or don't even need Venomancer, I could find Frostfire Dragon, and then I could sub out the Dragon Knight and the Hell Knight and keep 3 dragons, and then also run Dark Spirit. In my head, I'm thinking if I did that, I'm dumb. The only reason I'm thinking about that in my head right now is because actually, even I think having Venomancer in this build is stronger than having the 3 dragon bonus. I know Frostfire Dragon is quite fun, but yeah, I actually think having Venomancer is better. What I end up doing here is using the egg on the Dark Spirit. I will always take a Dark Spirit 2 if I can. Dark Spirit 2 is absolutely insane. What I'm looking for now, though, is my 4th Warlock. That 4th Warlock is either going to be Frostfire Dragon or it's going to be Venomancer. I really hope it's Venomancer because I genuinely think Venomancer is a better option than trying to go down the path of a dragon bonus. But if I go for Frostfire Dragon, I can have the dragon bonus in there as well. Skipping over a lot of Warlocks here, Excoundrel. Why are you doing that? It's another Dark Spirit. Nice. Okay. Skipping over a lot of... Oh, there's Venomancer. Did I put him in? I put him in. Nice. Well done, Excoundrel. You aren't bad. Cool. So now we're at 29 gold. We are 1 Gersis Ranger away from a 3-star. We are 2 Dwarf Snipers away from a 3-star. And we have a Refresh Orb on my Dark Spirit, which is obviously fantastic. And now I have a couple of options as well. Nether Essence is going to give me something that makes me good against other hunters, but I do think the Halberd is a particularly good item, especially because most of my opponents are very likely to have a Halberd of their own. And now I'm going to roll down because the reason I'm going to roll down here is I'm specifically just looking for my last Dwarf Sniper and my last Excoundrel Ranger. Not going to roll past 12 because there isn't much point at this point. I'm not going to die on this round, so I don't need to worry about it too much. But you can see Dwarf Sniper with a Dark Spirit with Refresher is just doing serious work here. Obviously, a Dark Spirit with Refresher is going to help beat most builds. So I'm not delusional to the fact that a Dark Spirit with Refresher is not carrying me in this situation. What I am saying though is, what am I skipping over here? Oh, I've got a 3-star Evil Knight. Nice. But what I am saying is that this build does allow you to effectively have a Dark Spirit in the build and actually be useful. So Dark Spirit is very clearly carrying me versus a lot of these builds because this guy's running Night Hunters and the other guy's running Warriors. So obviously Dark Spirit is absolutely ridiculous in this scenario. And plus having 4 Warlocks means Dark Spirit is just going to basically be unkillable when he casts his ultimate. And I've got 2 mana generation items on him specifically. So obviously Dark Spirit is really, really, really good. And I'm not oblivious to the fact that a Dark Spirit with a Refresher Orb at level 2 or 2-star is going to beat a lot of things. However, the rest of the build is performing pretty admirably as well, and I'm getting a huge amount of lifesteal on my Dwarf Snipers. So we are actually in a good spot overall. So this is versus the Warrior player, and actually my Dark Spirit didn't even go off here. My Dark Spirit didn't go off, and you can see I'm getting battered because of it. That's something that you have to be aware of. I just got caught up by human silence there, so that's why now on this next round what I'm going to do is be very aware of where I'm positioning Dwarf Sniper, where I'm positioning a Dark Spirit, because if Dark Spirit actually gets caught out, and ends up... Wait a second, did I not have 4 Warlocks before? Ah, right. Ah, that makes sense. Ah, I wasn't even watching. I just assumed that I had 4 Warlocks. So now I finally got 4 Warlocks, and I have a Frostfire Dragon. And that means at level 10 I could add a Dragon bonus. That makes more sense. That's a much more, yeah, just makes more sense. So anyway, getting battered, as you can see. Really need a 3-star Dwarf Sniper. That would make a lot of difference to my build. We'll have a Frostfire Dragon in over the Desperate Doctor. Just means that I could get dragons if I were to go to level 10. Don't know if I am going to go to level 10. Dragons would only be super helpful versus a very specific set of compositions. But I do think that Frostfire Dragon can be useful at separating out compositions, especially if you position him quite well. So we're looking for an Excoundrel Ranger, and we're looking for a 3-star Dwarf Sniper here. That's what we're essentially looking for. We get a Mysterio Staff, which will give us the Legendary Pulse Staff upgrade, which is nice. And do I roll and get a Dwarf Sniper? No, but we get an Umbra. Very cool. And we sell it immediately and roll again. No idea where I did that. Sometimes I get impatient. I'm just like, I want to lock the Dwarf Sniper when I find him. I'm obviously competing for Dwarf Snipers as well, so there is a bit of theory to that. But yeah, this is we're on the edge. Even with a 2-star Dark Spirit, it really just depends on cast position, and I think having a 3-star Dwarf Sniper is going to massively improve my chances in this game. So we are now essentially just searching for 3-star Dwarf Sniper. 2-star Dark Spirit will carry us to a, at a specific point, and there is the 3-star Dwarf Sniper. So we actually get 3-star Dwarf Sniper and a Excoundrel Ranger on the same turn. Well done, Excoundrel. You're really good at rolling. So the other guy's got a 3-star Hell Knight, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to slightly split up my positioning. The reason I'm going to do this is because I would quite like to split up the focus of the enemy hunters. I don't want the enemy hunters to all focus the same target, and I'd really like my Dwarf Sniper to just be able to ping people from the backline. Look at the sustain that my Dwarf Sniper has. Actually allowed me to draw with the #1 player in this lobby, because the sustain on my Dwarf Sniper right now is absolutely ludicrous. And I've even now managed to rank up and get the 3-star Dwarf Sniper. Not sure why I'm now moving back. I'm guessing that positioning didn't work out that well for me. I'm trying to get inside Excoundrel's brain from 5 days ago. I think it kind of made sense. Maybe not though. Maybe not. Anyway, this is now with 3-star Dwarf Sniper, so we should be good. After he gets unhalberded, which just happened there, and you can see we've also got the enemy comp locked up onto those locked up onto those dark spirals. Unfortunately, I still lose to the warrior player, which is actually just insane. The warrior player is very strong, so maybe just there's something to beast warrior, especially if you get the 3 stars, because it's even beating a 2-star dark spirit. I'm going to put him on the front line though, just because I want him to generate mana quickly. Even though he's generating mana really quickly, Excoundrel, he's literally taking 1 basic attack to land his first ultimate, and then he instantly casts his second ultimate. So I'm not really sure why you did that. It's good to because now he just dies. But they obviously with 4 warlocks versus this guy, he tanks for so long. And then I've just got my 3-star dwarf sniper in the back line. Look at my 3-star dwarf sniper go. Actually just broken. The only problem that I'm going to face right now is that obviously I'm second, which is great. A great comeback to get second. I'm just playing a really, really, really good build. Hunters are absolutely broken. The problem with this current situation is the guy that I'm facing has 88 HP. He probably has 4 or 5 rounds, maybe more, depending on how hard he loses, of losing before he even becomes close to potentially getting knocked out. And if my Dark Spirit has 1 bad cast, or he gets good Night Shield RNG, or he splits up versus my Dark Spirit, then there is actually nothing I can do. So I'm 1 bad RNG round away from losing, and he is like he's like, 5 or 6 or 7 rounds away from losing. So in the current scenario that I'm in, we're not exactly in a healthy spot. I'm just basically stacking evasion onto my 3-star Hell Knight, which actually isn't that good versus hunters because they have a chance to pierce evasion anyway, but it's probably the best target for it irrespective of that. And you can see here that even with a really, really, really good Dark Spirit ultimate, I just get blasted, and there isn't really anything that I can do, especially if the RNG is just bad. So I think we did well to fight our way back to second here. The guy was playing a more broken version of the build that I'm playing, but I think it speaks a lot that the both top players were just playing hunters, and the other guy didn't even have a 3-star dwarf sniper. He was playing the dragon knight version, which is just even more broken. So there you go. Hunters are absolutely broken.